Hello everyone, it's Daz, and I'm back again for another video, and I've decided to try something new for the last Friday of every month, and that is share 5 crazy stories that I came across during the month and rank them 5 through 1, and I decided that this month and this day would be perfect to try it on because it's my 24th day of birth, and I'm really grateful and in a good mood, and also, thank you everyone for sticking with me all these years, and even though the anniversary isn't coming up till late February of the first upload, it's crazy to think when I first started talking to you guys, I was a teenager, I was 19, and here I am in my mid-20s, and despite all the pronunciation and errors that were made, you guys stuck with me this far, and if you're new, thank you for subscribing. So, I'll post the links in the description box for each story. I am going to read them, and I apologize in advance for any names, places, or whatever else I mispronounce. So, number 5 comes from Inside Edition, and it was published on September 13th, 2018. Minnesota firefighters rescue a bear with its head stuck in a milk can. They tried drilling air holes, but that didn't help. Neither did applying cooking oil. In the end, it took firefighters and the jaws of life to free a black bear from a 10-gallon milk jug stuck on its head. A Minnesota Department of Natural Resources officer and several others tried their darnest to help the four-legged critter. When boring holes into the container did no good, they tried lathering the animal's furry neck with oil, hoping to slide it off. That's when they called the local fire department. A tarp was brought out, and one of the firefighters, who also is a wrestling coach, tried to wrestle the jug off, but the man was no match for the bear. Those assembled were committed to saving the animal. The last thing I wanted to do was put the bear down, the resources officer, Eric Benjamin, told the Grand Forks Herald. But there wouldn't have been any other options if we couldn't get that can off its head. So they resorted to what rescue workers use on humans trapped by metal. They brought in the jaws of life. Several people held down the bear. The jug was pried off the animal's head. Sans milk bucket. The bear looked around and ran for the woods. There were a few drops of water and some leaves in the bottom of the jug, and firefighters thought the bear was looking for a drink because of a recent dry spell. A similar predicament befell the fictional Winnie the Pooh, though that mishap involved a honeypot. And I just thought the story was funny and cute, and the fact they called in the firefighters and even they tried wrestling it off its head, lathering oil, it's just kind of crazy. And number 4 comes from Newsweek on September 17th, 2018. Athlete banned from all-you-can-eat restaurant after downing 100 plates of sushi. Jaroslav Brambowski knows a good deal when he sees one. Accordingly, an all-you-can-eat offer at one sushi restaurant is no longer available to him. The triathlete follows a special diet in which he fasts for 20-hour periods. So when he does sit down for dinner, he tries to make up for lost time. But after devouring a staggering 100 plates at the Running Sushi restaurant in Landshut, Germany, as part of its $26 buffet deal, the restaurant declared him persona non grata. When I went to the checkout, I wanted to tip, but the waiter did not want to accept that. I'm banned from now on because I'm eating too much. I was stunned, the 30-year-old Ironman competitor said. Depending on the serving, a piece of sushi contains, according to FatSecret.com, an average of 40 to 50 calories. This means that Brambowski could have consumed around 4,000 calories in one sitting. Ida reported that he may have eaten as much as 18 pounds of sushi. Brambowski is 5'7" and weighs 174 pounds and has less than 10% body fat. Restaurant owner Tan Lee told Bild, "This is not normal, how much he eats. I myself am dead after 13 plates, but he always took 5 or 7 plates at a time. So there was a gap on the sushi carousel, and the other guests asked if we had skimped on the fish. I want to win customers and not offend any guests, but at 16 euros for unlimited sushi, we only earn money on the drinks and only consumed 1 tea the whole evening," he added. Brambowski has now been dubbed Sushi Man for his exploits, which have gone viral in Germany. He did go back to the restaurant to apologize, but will now take his custom to a different buffet restaurant nearby called China City. However, he has learned his lesson and will now modify his behavior. At the beginning, the owner asked me to drink more. I totally understand, he told Bild. And I just think it's funny that you had someone actually test the all-you-can-eat in an all-you-can-eat buffet. And they were not appreciated for doing so by the owner or probably anyone else dining at the time he was dining because they ran out of sushi. Number 3 comes from Fox News on September 13th, 2018. Owner of a Chinese restaurant in Louisiana found with roadkill in cooler. The owner of a Chinese restaurant in Louisiana is facing possible jail time after a spotted fawn was found in a cooler inside the eatery. Authorities said Sarmachan Chanthapania, 61, of Winnsboro, was cited for possession of a spotted fawn after Franklin Parish Sheriff's deputy found the animal during a security check at the Golden Hen restaurant in Winnsboro. The deputy discovered an open door and proceeded inside to clear the building when he found a dead spotted fawn in the cooler. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries said in a news release Wednesday. State wildlife agents were dispatched and found Chanthapania, the owner of the restaurant, later at his home where he was butchering the fawn. Chanthapania told the agents he found the animal dead on the side of Highway 17 and took the roadkill to his restaurant, where he stored it in his cooler. Chanthapania said he took the fawn to his house after learning that the deputy may have seen the dead animal in his cooler. Wildlife officials said, possession of a spotted fawn is punishable by fines up to $750 and between 15 and 30 days in jail. Chanthapania could not be reached for comment early Thursday, but his wife told the Times-Picayune that he found the dead animal along the highway and didn't realize taking it was illegal. So I've heard urban legends before about Chinese restaurants taking roadkill and using them in some of their dishes and maybe passing it off as beef, chicken, or something else, since a lot of people don't even know what the meat is and it sort of tastes the same. And with that story, it is believable because he did have a fawn in his freezer. However, his crime was not that he was serving people possibly a deer or would have served them. It was that he was in possession of an endangered species, from what I understand in the story. And it's just kind of creepy to me because it's awful, but also it's like, what if he would have said this is chicken or beef and people ate it not knowing they were eating a dead deer? Or maybe they have deer on the menu. I don't know. I don't live in Louisiana. I've never been to the restaurant, but it's just crazy because I've heard urban legends like that. And number 2 comes from NPR and was published on September 3rd, 2018. Paranormal investigator fires gunshot at ghost. Police responded to a report of gunshots in a Connecticut home and found a man inside with an explanation. He said he was a paranormal investigator shooting at an intruder who was a possible ghost. Now, just one question. Suppose you really were a paranormal investigator. Suppose you did encounter a wandering spirit. If you fired a gun in the situation, exactly what makes you think it would do any good? And I agree with the writer of that article. I myself, I don't even believe in ghosts, as some people do. I do believe there are spirits and familiar spirits, and I did a video on it last week that you could check out, but the weapons of our warfare are carnal, and a spirit and a carnal weapon, it really does no good. But it's interesting that there actually is a case recorded here, and I'm sure there's many others who have tried it in the days of ghost hunting and paranormal investigations. And I'm sure there will be more people that do it since we're approaching Halloween season. And number 1, and this was published on September 22nd, 2018. Nearly $18 million in cocaine seized in donated boxes of bananas to the Criminal Justice Department in Texas. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice found something unexpected in 2 pallets comprised of 45 boxes of bananas that were donated at the Ports of America in Freeport. Nearly $18 million worth of cocaine. The bananas had been donated to the TDCJ because they were too ripe. The TDCJ said in a Facebook post, 2 sergeants from the Scott unit were loading up the bananas when they noticed one of the boxes felt different. Under the bananas, they found a bundle of a white powdery substance, which U.S. Customs agent confirmed was cocaine. They searched all 45 boxes and found 540 packages of cocaine with an estimated street value of $17,820,000. U.S. Customs and Drug Enforcement are investigating. I wonder if someone decided to do that as a message to the police there, or if it was a complete accident and maybe they were shipping it elsewhere and somehow it got to the police. I don't know. I think it's a weird coincidence, and I think it's something that doesn't seem very wise, but you never know. And those are my top 5 crazy stories for the month of September. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you in this next Monday's live stream. Take care, and God bless.